As we all know, Netflix is making a live-action Avatar almost a year later than expected. We finally have a trailer. As you all know, there is another live-action Avatar which we don't talk about, and with all of that, I hear the question a lot of, why do we need a live-action Avatar? In the 21st century, we have had a renaissance of horrible adaptations, whether it's from books, animation, short films, or video games, and it is normal only to fear when a new adaptation is announced. And while I did share that belief after watching the M. Night Shyamalan film, this new trailer gives me confidence in the show and reminds me of Now, the first thing I want to mention from the trailer is just how gorgeous it is. Unlike so many adaptations where the colors are just toned down, here they're toned up. The most striking part of the trailer, in my opinion, is the fire temple because, one, it looks straight out the show, but the CGI adds so much more color and character, and it adds on what we see in the show. A few shots of Aang as he's about to enter the spirit realm, seeing characters enter our Mashu, the Fire Lord's chambers, or the Agni Kai. The cinematography is on point, as are the sets, and the costumes, and the makeup. We haven't heard any lines besides what I assume is Iroh narrating, but I'm sure that will be great as well. My jaw was on the floor with how good everything looked in the trailer, and it really assured me that the show wasn't going to try and reinvent the wheel and change everything about Avatar, but it was going to be faithful. That being said, with that change, no matter how good looking the show may be, if they're just going to do a scene for scene recreation of the show, that wouldn't be good either, and you may as well just rewatch the show, although I doubt that's what they're going to do. In my recent video discussing the Owl House's cancellation, I was discussing with one of my viewers in the comments, Ollie Sullen, why I was glad the show was canceled. He asked a great question for me to summarize my argument in one sentence, and my answer to that question is also a big factor in why we need this live-action show. Avatar The Last Airbender is a near-perfect show, and when it came out, it probably was. For what television was meant to be back in 2005 with ads and age ratings, budget, production, it was unbelievable. But we are now in a new era of television. With television back in the day, especially shows aimed towards children, the goal is to make episodes that don't need to be watched in order so that the network can air more reruns of just random episodes. Due to this, we have episodes like The Great Divide or The Fortune Teller. Episodes which aren't horrible in and of themselves, but hurt the pacing of the show and can be removed easily from the story. At the same time, episodes like Jet, The Blue Spirit, or Winter Solstice Part 2 were stuck to a 20-minute episode for something which deserved a lot more time. This is also why we see so little of the Kyoshi Warriors in Season 1, just because it's hard when they're showing up in this episode and this episode, because then you gotta follow along. So, while what we have in the original show is amazing, if you trim down the show to its most essential elements, we can improve upon those parts, give them more time, and just make the show more tightly written, and then we can come out with a better version of the original Avatar The Last Airbender. But what will this more compact season look like? While there are a few episodes which will probably be unchanged, mainly the first 3 episodes and the last 3, which will be Episode 1 and Episode 8, the rest of the episodes will probably be structured very differently. Like I mentioned, we will be seeing much more of the Kyoshi Warriors, which I think is a needed change, especially with their importance due to the development of Sokka, and seeing a more fleshed out relationship with Sokka and Suki before Sokka meets Yue. That could also be very interesting to see. We also will be seeing Azula, and possibly even Mei and Ty Lee, which implies we will get more focus on Zuko flashbacks, probably even seeing the ones which are normally in Zuko alone, because those were the 2 flashbacks with them, to introduce these characters. That's another interesting change, which is that we see Sozin's comment in the full attack in the Air Nation Massacre. I don't remember seeing that in the original show. Maybe we saw it for a second in the Southern Air Temple. But I assume we'll see this in the first episode, but it would be very interesting to find out where and whose perspective from which we'll be seeing the genocide, as Aang would have already been frozen during the massacre, and since Aang is alive, it can't be Roku we're seeing it through. Most likely we will see it with Roku during Winter Solstice Part 2. That could also indicate a rewrite, though, where somehow, someway, we see another perspective. Either it is some sort of flashback, like, I don't know, Iroh was a wee little boy, or Sozin, or something. Maybe it's even just like a scripture. I don't know. Another big change is that in a 22-minute episode, you can't give every character their own full arc. Like the three of them, he can only give one of them an arc in each episode, and we have only ever really focused on one character. So by doing these recurring stories, moving certain storylines to certain occasions, could be very interesting. For example, we have a full episode at Omashu, which could just move other Earth Kingdom episodes here for Sokka or Katara to do while Aang is busy with Bumi, although at least one of them would need to remain prisoner, so there's stakes for the Aang story. Another example would be the Kishi Warriors episode. While it is worth it to give Sokka's story a full episode, it would be a bit boring for an hour-long episode to see Aang learning humility. So maybe instead put imprisoned here, and instead of his arc, we get Katara's, and then it's just a Katara and Sokka development episode. I don't expect every moment from the original show will be featured in live action, and I was a bit surprised in the trailer with how much was familiar. Besides, of course, Sozin's comment, everything just looked right out of the show, and like scenes I've already seen. If you're liking this video and want to support the channel, I ask you to subscribe. While it won't benefit you, you'll be seeing my recommended videos either way. It does help me out a lot, and I appreciate the now over 200 people who are subscribed. Thanks a lot to them, and thank you too just for watching. This show will only succeed by making changes that improve upon the story and make it different from just rewatching the original show. While in the original show, they can't make the fights as fast and paced as the original writers wanted, specifically the bending. The show can be closer to Korra's fighting and fix that with faster paced bending. We can't give the show flack just for being different than the original, because that is the reason it exists and why we should be watching it. That doesn't mean any change is good. For example, if they gave Zuko his redemption in Season 1, for example, I would probably launch a DDoS attack at Netflix because that would just be stupid. In summary, the live-action Avatar The Last Airbender has the potential for greatness. It is staying true to the source material how it can, but innovating on certain parts that are lacking to give us a better overall experience. If it is good, it won't be reinventing the wheel, just oiling it and making it more efficient, which should be a good thing. If you like Avatar, which you seem to do as you're, 7 minutes into a video, you will know they're making a bunch of new Avatar movies and shows, which, whether we like it or not, are going to be made. That being said, I've made a bunch of pitches for interesting shows and movie ideas, which you can check out in this video. As we approach the release to the live action, expect more videos covering all things Avatar. I have been Fictional Fanatics. I will see you in that pitch video. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, bye!